I arrived on these shores in 1978. I was 11 years old, and my first school experience was to sit at the back of the class. Actually, it was to hide at the back of the class because I didn't speak a word of English. It was really hard, and of course, if you make mistakes, it's not easy at school. I think many of you will recognize that experience. Of course, by the time I learned a few words, I tried to sort of string words together in my head to make a sentence, to join in the class subject matter. By the time I'd made the sentence in my head, the subject matter had moved on in the classroom. So my early experience, where my teachers wanted to help me, but they thought I had obviously some learning difficulties and wanted to support me in that way. Like many young people, I picked up the language. It took me about, I think, 8 to 10 months. I started to read the language. I started to write in the language. But what really unlocked opportunity for me was to start to think in the language. I've come a long way from that time. I went to uni. I studied chemical engineering and have had a number of careers. And the one thing I would say to you is, and I've just been talking to some of you outside, some know exactly what they want to do after they leave this brilliant school. Others will try lots of different things. And there's actually nothing wrong with both options. To try out different things until you find out what you are passionate about, what you really want to do in life. And it may be 2 or 3 different things over a number of years, and maybe more than that, is a great thing. And I would say to you, go for it. I've had a number of careers now, from starting my own business in technology and market research, building it, and then obviously moving into politics, as I've done, and now as Secretary of State for Education. I thought I would just give you a little bit of a description of what I do as the Secretary of State for Education. So the Department of Education is a big department. It's full of really good people, passionate people, and more importantly, the people in our schools, in our colleges, in our universities, in early years, of course, as well. So your brilliant teachers here I've been hearing about, and one teacher whose name kept coming up was Sam Hedford, who's done a brilliant job clearly in this place on making sure that you all get to see what different careers are available to you. Do an amazing job, because I am passionate about this, that you don't go into education unless you really care. And so I'm very lucky in that I head up an organization. So the department has about 8,000 people in it. By next year, the year after, we'll be spending something like £86 billion. That's the size of the Department of Education. But you don't go into education unless you really are passionate, unless you really love what you do. So I've got people who are talented and passionate, and that's the best thing you can have in any organization, in my view. National Career Week. This is a week where we celebrate, we talk about, we try and share with young people what the options are available to you. And I have to tell you that in many ways, you are in a great place compared to when I was your age, in that there are really different options. So there's the university route, and that's great. We have some of the best universities in the world. If I tell you that around the world, international students who want to study at university, so out of every 4 international students, 2 go to America, 1 comes to our country, to the United Kingdom, and the rest of the world shares 1. So we have a really, really healthy, good university education system. But we've also got now other pathways, which I think are fantastic. So I was in the Department of Education back in 2016 when and I was responsible for this as the apprenticeship the person in charge of apprenticeships in the department, where we launched the new apprenticeship standards, and the golden thread through the whole strategy, the idea behind this, was that we make sure the standards are designed with business, because ultimately it's businesses in all sectors who know what skills they need in the young adults that they would want to bring into their business. We did that, so we've got some excellent apprenticeship standards, and then we launched what is called a white paper, which is the skills white paper, which is now turning into the skills bill, so legislation, which will deliver even better opportunities in my view. So things like, and it's great to hear when I was talking to some of you outside, that you've, a number of you had heard of T-levels. So a T-level, I want to make as famous as an A-level. A T-level is a fusion between an apprenticeship and an A-level. So you do a work placement as well as academic work, and you can go into work, or you can go beyond the T-level and go and do an apprenticeship degree. We now have almost 20,000 young people doing apprenticeship degrees at universities. That's another choice for you. And then beyond that, and I was just sort of talking to you about having different careers, trying different things out. In 2025, we're going to introduce, I think, a really important option for an adult of any age. So from the age of 18 upwards, if you want to change careers, so if you might be working in engineering, in Aberdeen, in energy, and you want to move to work in the Northeast in renewables, offshore renewables, you'll be able to do that. We will stand behind you in the way we do that when you go to university now, and take it in modules or take it as a 4-year equivalent of study, and then change careers. And I think that's a great thing. In any economy, that's a really good thing to have these different options available. So go out there and explore is my message to you. Go out there and find out. And I know Sam has done a brilliant job in helping you to find out what's out there for you, because there is a lot going on, and we're going to continue to grow it even further. I leave you with a final thought, and then we can take some questions. If you ask me, and I love the word of on the outside of the building around ambition. If you ask me, what was the real difference in terms of success and failure in my life, it was passion. Passion. So whatever I did it because I loved doing it. Because if you enjoy doing something, you'll wake up in the morning and you'll want to do it, and you'll want to find out everything about it. And by wanting to find out everything about it, you become really good at it. But the other thing that I would share with you is don't be afraid of failure. Failure, in many ways, makes you even better. And you've heard about my successes and building a business that I grew and took public, becoming a member of parliament, becoming Secretary of State. But I've also had failures. I built a business that failed. And it was difficult and hard, but I learned some really important lessons from that. And the most important thing is you're able to dust yourself off, get yourself back on your feet, and start again. And this country is a great country to do that, because there's be plenty of people who will back you again and again and again in whatever you do. Thank you for listening to me. It's great to be with you.